In my experience of administering it to people, people have about a 3 to 4 week period in which their cravings, or if it were heroin, their actual physical withdrawal symptoms are attenuated or eliminated, but also they have this kind of period in which they feel free from the drug. Now, if you work with that, you've got a good chance of actually staying clean. If you don't do any kind of aftercare program, chances are at the end of the month, the old feelings are going to kick back in, and you may have had these incredible insights, but you may well use again. I documented all the people that I treated, and I kept tabs on them for about 18 months post-treatment. And I wrote a report based on 20 case studies. And of those 20 case studies, I think we had a 40-45% success rate, which meant that people were clean 18 months later, which is considerably higher than anything else available at the moment. But obviously, you know, I took a break in the work after that, and it would be really interesting now to see, you know, 5, 6, 7 years later, how those people are doing. And I really think that the people that were most successful were people who had obviously really come to a point in their life where they really were ready to quit, which is what any treatment program will say, but also the people that really had a really good support structure set up afterwards, or had a rehab program to go into. You know, the thing about ibogaine is, because it's a drug, it's a sort of very attractive option for most drug users. It's much more attractive than going into a rehab for 6 months. You go to take ibogaine, you have a trip, and 2 days later or 3 days later you're cured of your addiction. And if you come in with that mentality and thinking this is just going to clear it like that, and you don't really have to do the work, it's actually not going to be much more successful than anything else available. If you can really, you know, be prepared to work with what comes up in the experience, then you've really got a chance. And obviously, for some really hardcore heroin users, it is amazing to get over the withdrawal, which is part of the battle for them. They won't go into rehab because they can't face the pain of that. So in that respect, you know, at least even if they're only clean for a few months, at least they're clean. And generally what tends to happen is that even if you get a few months, if you have a repeat treatment, you know, each treatment will be more successful. So you can have kind of 6 months later have another one, and 6 months later have another one. So some people need 2 or 3 or 4 treatments. You know, in the ideal scenario, you have your one experience, you have this life-changing kind of life playback, and you're over your withdrawal and you don't need it anymore. And then you have a lovely support structure to help you through the next phase. But, you know, because it's not on the NHS and because it doesn't have the support, so many people are treated in this kind of renegade fashion that they're not given the potential that they could have if there was a more sort of open attitude towards this type of therapy.